What's up, y'all? I've got a question for you guys. Just to have some good karma before, comment down below what is the biggest winning session you've ever had and at what stakes they were and also how long you played. So, curious to see what the responses are. Your best winning session ever in cash. What was the stakes, how long you played, and you just might win a Rampage chip package. Got like 2 custom chips and the metal coin card protector. Yeah, so I'm giving those out. So anyways, we're back at Boston Billiard, of course, today. And starting off late, man. It's about 7 o'clock. Place closes at 1 a.m. So we don't have all the time in the world. We have some time. We're hopping in there. I don't really ever play this late, but the sky looks really cool. I don't know if you can... Oh, look at that. That sky looks amazing. Like, it's like just before like the sunset. It's so cool. Holy shit, I'm gonna end this off here. That's so cool. Anyways, I'm probably gonna play 1-3 today. Maybe 2-5 if there's an open spot, but wow, that sky's amazing. Anyways, wish us luck. That looks dope. It's 1-3 time back at Boston Billiards, and we're in for $500. First hand here, ace king offsuit under the gun playing 6-handed. I open it up to $12, and we get the cutoff to 3-bet us to 50. It folds to me, and he's got a pretty short stack in front of him of about $230 in total. Here, out of position, facing a pretty large 3-bet. Definitely just going to put in the 4-bet jam here with ace-king offsuit. No real way to play it. This is a hand that we want to maximize fold equity or also see all 5 cards anyways. So we just put in the jam, which seems a little too big, but given the stack size is pretty normal here. Trying to put him in a pretty tough spot, and he ends up making the call reluctantly. We're off to a run-out.
Good last hand at the table. Jesus.
The run-out isn't great. I announce ace-king high, and he ends up showing the same thing, so... First hand in, nothing too dramatic. We're just going to chop it up. Next, picking up 10-9 of diamonds, once again under the gun. With 6-handed ranges, this is going to definitely be in there. We love playing these suited connectors. I opened it up to $12. Only the cutoff makes the call, and from my perspective, she's been really tight, one of the tighter players at the table. So, out of position, flop comes 10-5 deuce 2 spades. Top pair is good enough for a C-bet here. Not really sure what I'm actually going to be targeting, but mainly just to protect top pair. I bet $20, and she makes the call for 20. Off to a turn, which is a 6. All things considered, pretty good turn for us. We still feel pretty confident enough to continue double barreling with top pair. I size to $35, and once again, she makes the call. Going to a river now, probably just going to be shutting down on most rivers. The river's the 9 of hearts, though, so that's pretty darn perfect. The spade draws miss, and we're definitely going to be sizing up here first to act. So we size to $110. She doesn't think too long before ripping it all in for about $250 total in her stack. Obviously here, very standard, just going to put in the snap call. She shows us 10-9 of clubs, so 2 hands in a row, we're chopping it up. An hour plus goes by, and we don't see a hand until we pick up aces here in the small blinds. Unfortunately, the action folds to me, so we're just going to be opening this up to $12. The big blind folds, we pick up $3, and we are sad. Next hand in the cutoff with 8-7 of hearts. I open things up to $12, and we get the big blind to defend. Off to a flop, which comes ace 8-4, 2 diamonds in the club. He checks to us, and this should be a mandatory C-bet, but I elected to just play this a little bit trickier. This really should be a C-bet here with middle pair, ace high flop, but I check. Turn is the 7 of clubs, brings in that backdoor flush draw, so 2 draws out there now, and he checks to us. I size up to $20, improved to middle 2 pair, and with my $20 bet, he makes the call. We're going to a river, which comes the 5 of diamonds. Yuck. He checks to us, and I'm thinking, is there any chance we can ever bet small enough for really thin value? There is a full liner out there. The front door flush gets there. We're not feeling great, but still with 2 pair, I size to 35, going really thin here for value. He unfortunately puts in the check raise to 135. I can't do much in this instance, so definitely just can't really be calling $100 more facing a check raise on the river. I fold face up as we were being friendly. He watches the channel as well, so nice hand. Looking at our chip stack here, we top back up back to $500. Let's get into it. This next hand, we've been very card dead, and we look down at 3-5 of clubs in the hijack. Here, I'm opening it up to $12 because we're bored and maybe getting a little tilted. The cutoff makes the call, so we're going heads up to a flop. The flop is King 8-4 Rainbow. Well, one club out there. It's a king high, very dry flop. Good enough for us to c-bet here with 5 high. I bet $15, and he makes the call for 15. Hoping to improve to something here. The turn comes the Jack of Clubs, so fantastic. As improved, definitely time to barrel, so we size up to $45. Now at this point, we face a weird action. He min-clicks it to 90. This is a little annoying because I can't fold to this $45 min raise. So with that said, I make the call hoping to improve, or basically, yeah, let's hope to improve. I make the call, and the river comes the Ace of Hearts. Nope, this isn't good for us. I check, he snap checks it back, and I'm forced to announce 5 high. And he shows us Jack Deuce of Spades. Yuck. He does watch the channel, so very thin value there on the turn with second pair, but unfortunate. This next spot, picking up 9-7 offsuit in the big blind, and 2 players limp to me. Sure, we're going to play our big blind special for free. We're off to a flop 3 ways out of position. The flop is 10-8-6-2 hearts. Thank you for the flop, and thank God I just reloaded earlier to the hand of 500, so we're ready to get stacks in here. I check, the ungun player bets $10, the other limper surprisingly calls, and no need to slow play this one out of position and multi-way. We put in that check raise to $50, and to my surprise, both players actually think about it and make the call. Alrighty here, we're going to go to a hopefully brick turn. Turn is a 4. There it is. There's the brick we're looking for. So here, definitely going to be sizing up, trying to charge the max for draws. We do block some heart combinations with the 9 of hearts there, but definitely just wanting to get as much money in the middle as possible. I size to $140. The ungun limper tanks and ends up making the call with about $70-ish behind. And unfortunately, the other limper in there folds. He had us covered, and we really want to play against him. But with that said, we're going to river heads up with not much behind. The river pairs the board. It's another 4. So this isn't great. I think about what's the right thing to do here. And ultimately, it's so little behind. We just put in the jam. Jam about $70 effective, and he snap folds. So that's it. We'll take this down. Shout out to that big blind special. The following hand of the night, Ace-10 of clubs in the cutoff, and once again, action folds to me. So I opened at $12. The button snap calls. He's been running pretty bad recently, player to my left, and potentially just a little tilted, so we'll see what happens when we go heads up to this flop. Flop is 10-5-3-2 spades, and I put in the c-bet to $20 with top. He makes the call, and we're going to a turn. Turn is the deuce of diamonds, so improved from top. Also, we have the gutter to a straight and Broadway. I fire out for $70 now, sizing up. And once again, he makes the call for $70. Probably going to be checking this back on a pretty wet board. But when the river comes the 10 of hearts, and he only has $60 behind in his stack, we're certainly going to go with it. I jam $60 effective. He thinks, ends up putting in the call. And I'm pretty confident that my hand's good here. I show my hand, and we do have the winner. We stack him, and more chips come our way. This next hand, picking up the same exact hand, but in the hearts variety, in the big blind with a button straddle. I open up the action to $20, and easy enough. The cutoff and button decided to play their hands, so we're going 3 ways out of position. Flop is Ace-5-6 Rainbow. It is pretty good enough for us. The 5 and the 6 can sometimes connect with the cutoff and button flat calling ranges, but anyways, I c-bet $30 with top pair. The cutoff min clicks it to $60. Button gets out of the way, and this is interesting because this is the same player that min clicked it with Jack Deuce earlier with second pair. So I know he certainly can be doing this light, but on this board texture, I have top pair and a very medium strength kicker. With that said, out of position, I think maybe I'm more incentivized to 3-bet against this specific player, but it seems pretty thin even in this context, so I just flat the extra 30. Off to a turn, which is a 6. The board's paired, and I feel a little bit better about this. Definitely can be ahead of some ace rag, ace 9, ace 8s, but I check. He bets very small for $50. My kicker is just too weak or medium strength to put in the raise here. So I just flat the 50 and we're going to a river. The river is now a queen. Not what we wanted to see, as we are chopping against all aces here. Less likely he has ace queen in the spots, and the only combo that we were losing to, ace jack, now we chop against as well. So with that said, not really sure what the correct line is, but I throw in a $15 blocker bet. Haven't really tried this before, but really experimenting here. He makes the call for 15 bucks, and he shows us ace 7 offsuit. So we're going to chop this up to an unfortunate run out there. Yeah, maybe a 3-bet on the flop would have worked better, but with ace 10, it's pretty thin. Rapid fire through these hands. This next hand here, the player to my right is under the gun, and he decides to straddle. I put in that good old blind raise to $10 before we get dealt in here. So we're playing 5-handed. It's good for the game. The button, first to act, opens up the action to $40. It folds to me. I look down at king queen offsuit, and this is a absolute premium in this spot. King queen off is as good as I could ask for, 5-handed with the blind straddle. I haven't seen this player open to 4x ever, and I'm thinking it's pretty big right now, considering the player type. With that said, I'm out of position, $800 effective. I should be 3-betting this 100% of the time, but for one reason or another, I decided to just flat call, lower the variance, and see a flop out of position. The flop comes ace 5, 6, rainbow, and not really hitting us, unfortunately. I check, and I'm pretty surprised here when he decides to check it back on an ace high flop. We're off to a turn, which is a deuce. Pretty much another brick here, and once again with king queen high, I check. He bets $40, and here I just don't really believe him. Very unlikely for an ace to check back on this flop, and I think king queen high has just enough showdown equity to maybe flat instead of bluff raising him. I'm pretty unsure about this spot. I think this hand would have played a lot differently if I just 3-bet pre-flop. But anyways, I make the call with nothing. The river comes the jack of spades. This isn't really the card I was looking for. Honestly, I don't even know what I was looking for. But yeah, a lot of jack highs, queen jacks, a hand like that could definitely be ahead of us now. I check, he checks it back. He shows us pocket threes, and I have to sheepishly make the fold here. Yeah, this was not a good hand for me. Next up, king jack offsuit in the big blind, once again with a under the gun straddle, and we're playing 5-handed. The button opens up the action to $20. Now onto me. In the big blind here, they didn't 3-bet that king queen offhand that I'm regretting. Now let's put in that 3-bet with king jack off, which is significantly worse. But anyways, I 3-bet to $80, and the button makes the call for 80, so out of position in a 3-bet pot. Let's see what happens. The flop comes king, queen, 9, 2 hearts, and a diamond. What an absolute flop. Certainly going to be betting my range here. My hand definitely connects with this board with top pair, obviously. And I think my 3-betting range from out of position certainly smashes this range as well. So we put in the bet to $65, mainly a little bit for value since we do have top pair. He makes the call for 65, and we're going to see a turn. Turn comes the 4 of diamonds, brings in another backdoor flush draw, and I think it's going to be a little ambitious to be betting for value here again. Going for 2 streets here is interesting. I'm just not sure where I'm at with king jack off. I do block some straight draws that I'd want him to have with a gutter. Anyways, I check out of position, and he makes it easy for us as he checks it behind. Off to a river, which comes the deuce of clubs. This is just a total brick, and Now, do we go for value or do we just check it here out of position? With the line I've taken, I think I would probably only value ace king here. King jack with one pair is just going to be very ambitious betting on this river. So I check, he snap checks it back. I show my king jack offsuit, and we're going to take this one down. Next, we have one of our favorite hands once again, 10-9 of spades on the big blind. There's an undergun player who is just sat down on the table. He opened limps, bought in for $300, and it folds to me. We're definitely going to push things up here against a brand new player. I raised to $15, and he makes the call. Off to a flop, which comes king 5, queen 2 spades. Flopping the combo draw here with the gutter. I decided to c-bet $20 on a pretty monster flop for us, and he makes the call for 20. Going to a turn, which is the 8 of clubs, brings in a backdoor flush draw. Here, certainly can check, but I decided to just apply some pressure here, considering he just sat down and we're out of position with a pretty good draw. I sized to a pot size bet of $70. He thinks for quite some time and ends up making the call with about $200-ish behind, so a little bit under a pot size bet left on the river. The river is the 5 of clubs. The backdoor flush draw gets there, but yeah, I'm just going to go with it. Once I polarize myself on the turn and pretty much bet pot, we're going to do the same thing here on the river and apply maximum pressure. I jam about $200 effective. He tanks for a long time and ultimately puts in the call. I immediately just start moving $200 of red chips his direction because 10 high is no good. I show him what I got, and he shows us queen jack of spades. So nice hand rolling, good call. He says that the only reason why he called was that he watches the channel. So that's just what we love to hear, man. Nice call. Last hand of the night, we have pocket sixes in the big blind. There are 2 limpers, and the button raises it up to $18. Here in the big blind, sixes, definitely going to be flatting to see a flop. The limpers call as well, so 4 ways to a flop, which is 6, 3, 4, 2 diamonds. Thank you. After punting off $300 the last hand, we get rewarded with top set on a very wet board. I check. The hijack who limped donk bets into the field of $50, and surprisingly, both players make the call. Immediately, now I'm thinking, let's just get stacks in. The pot has definitely bloated up here multi-way, and there's a ton of action here. There is some argument made for just flatting here, since 1, we are out of position, and 2, it's such a wet board that the equities are going to run so close together. Time to play a little bit lower variance is what some people would say, but multi-way, out of position, top sets, we're going with this hand regardless. So I raised to $240. The hijack who bet that $50 decides to jam his whole stack in there, who covers the table. Other players snap full to me, and I have $307 behind. I'm obviously never folding. We make the call. Let's go to a runout. The turn comes, well, the case 6. Bink. Just like that, we have the nuts. We turn the quads. We show our hand. And he tells us that he flopped the straight, but didn't show it, but I believe him. Nice to suck out there. Nice to double up my stack in a pretty big pot with quads. Whew. That was what you could call a swingy session. 1-3 the whole time. Quads, never complaining about quads. We played for 4.5 good old hours of what we call our home stake. I don't know, something about 1-3, super comfortable. I don't know, something, I just love 1-3. I just wish, like, if we could just play deep stack 1-3 all the time, that'd be a great time. But we were in the game for $820, out of it for $13.55. We are lucky that we are a luck box and turned quads, because that was the turning point of the session and the only reason why we won. Sticking to our luck box nature. Anyways, those are the results. Good time, good night overall. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Smash that like button if you made it this far. Subscribe if you haven't already. Besides that, we are going home. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys next time. Peace.